This is the new project, 1977, I believe, Kz400. I believe it's a 77, or it's an early model because it doesn't have the plastic that goes back here. It's just a bar. So it's it's early model, but it does have the mag wheels. So I don't know. Maybe I'm speaking out of my ass. I have no idea. But this bike, the intention is just to restore it, get it up to as good a shape I can do. Not perfect. I don't know if I'm capable of that, but as good as I can do. So main things, it's rusty and old. You know, it's not in the best shape ever. But, you know, I can fix that. I might replace these springs. I'm not sure. They're fairly cheap on eBay, so I might just replace them. New chains definitely on the way. Look at that. Gross. Exhaust I'm going to keep. This I'm just going to clean up best I can. But, I don't know, maybe I'll get some megaphones offline or something. So, here's the bad, here's the good. The good is it's all here. The engine does turn over. It is free. But, other than the rust, the front master cylinder is completely seized up. It's completely seized. So I'm going to try and free that best I can, but in all reality, I'm probably going to have to replace it with something newer, probably from an F4i, something like that. Those are usually good and cheap. This is actually, I just noticed, this is also pretty bent. But I don't think that's the reason. I think that it's not moving. I think it's just straight up seized. So that's the first thing. I don't know if the caliper itself is seized, but who knows? It is spinning at least. Tires need to be replaced. They're both showing signs of rot. Don't want that. It needs a new battery. It's on the way. This is just my spare battery. What else does it need? Oh yeah, I can't really get to it from here, but the rear brake brake stay arm, it's broken off, so I need a new one of those. I need a new drum assembly. That's on the way. But the positives are is that the bike does turn over, the starter does work, it does have compression, it does have spark, although the spark is somewhat erratic. Probably because the plugs are old. If you look at it, like these plugs do look, I mean, they're rusted for God's sake. They're pretty old. So the first thing I'm going to do today is I'm going to get these carbs off because I am certain that these guys need a little bit of love. So I'm going to take these off and clean them, and then put some fresh gas in the tank. See if it starts. Carb cleaning. A lot of people have done this more in depth and better than I have, so I'm not going to walk you through like, here's what a carb is, here's what this does, here's what that does. I'm not going to worry about that. Better people have done it. Mr. Mac's Story, Hack a Week, those guys. I'm probably forgetting some too, but they do it way better than me. So I'm just going to go over this stuff very generally and just specific to what's going on with these carbs. Now, I've never worked on a Kz400 before, but honestly, carbs are carbs. There's going to be crap. Clean out the crap. That's it, you know, carb cleaner and then compressed air to get all the carb cleaner out. So I work on one carb at a time. I don't take both of these apart and just like run through them because I'll forget where stuff goes. You know, stuff will get messed up. When I am taking stuff apart, I go on my little piece of paper here. I go from left to right, so I know that anything on the far left here is the last stuff to go in. Anything over here is like the first stuff to go in when I'm reassembling. So that's another little thing I do. But these guys specifically, they look just as bad as I thought they would. As you can see, that is a very gummed up carburetor. You see those the jets that are sitting here and here, those are supposed to be brass, and they are black, and they are just completely gunked up. So that's a big problem. And also you can see just kind of the extent of what we're dealing with here. The bowl itself, all that black stuff in there, that's just old gunky gas. That ain't good either. However, I don't think I'm going to be replacing the gasket here because it still looks like it's in pretty good shape, believe it or not. So I don't think I'm going to replace that, and also they weren't leaking when they were on the bike, so you know, we'll see if this will hold up. If not, I got to get a carb rebuild kit. It's a couple bucks, no big deal. So I'm going to start cleaning all this crap. I'm going to do the majority of it off camera to save you from that. But oh, look gross. The one thing that is kind of throwing me here is the carb, or just the choke lever. Doesn't look like it works. You know, it doesn't look like it's hooked up, and I can see that there's some, this is the mechanism for the choke, and there's like baling wire not even connected on there. So I don't know if that was a, oh, I'm stuck. I don't know if that was a like temporary fix, or I have no idea. I might have to look at some parts fiches and all that, but I got to figure out how to get these, how to get the choke lever working again. That's another thing. So again, I will do all that troubleshooting off camera, and it's time to get to work. This is going to take a little bit of time. Fortunately, we have our first casualty, and that is from the, let's see, what side is what? I'm just going to point and say this side. The plug, this little guy, this little plug that sits in this part of the carburetor, this guy right there, was stripped by me. It happens. This side carburetor was incredibly dirty, cracked open this side, very clean. So it might be that this side was maybe starved for fuel, didn't get enough in there. Might be the case because this, the fuel, whatever you call this, where the little plastic bit that the fuel goes in, it's cracked, so that's going to need to be replaced. So these are not going to be finished today. I'm going to have to get some more parts for them. So basically, I'm just going to clean the whole damn thing and take stock of what parts need to be replaced, what parts don't need to be replaced. So I don't feel so bad about, you know, this guy getting all screwed up, because frankly, it's an old carb. These guys are really dirty. It's 40-year-old brass. It happens. You try and avoid it, but, you know, it happens. What are you going to do? So another thing that is giving me some stress right now, and I'm going to have to replace, is this guy right here, the plunger. As you can see on this side of the carburetor, much cleaner, came right out. This guy's stuck in there, so I'm going to have to screw it and just, you know, do whatever I can to get him out of here. It really doesn't matter. It's going to be replaced anyways. I just got to get it out. There's really no finesse way of doing that. So I'm going to keep ripping into these guys and take stock of the stuff that needs to be replaced as I go along. And I don't know, we'll see. Ugh. Well, unfortunately I had to bust out the drill press to get that plunger, whatever the hell it's called, float needle out. There's the, if it'll ever focus, almost, basically. There's the good side. Here's the bad side with the needle drilled out by the drill press. Hello. But whatever, you can see I got it out of there. Really no damage to the tube it was sitting in, so that's good. I was able to get it out of there 100%. And all that was left when I was done drilling it out was just like this little black piece left over. Can you focus? Will you focus? Please focus. You won't focus. Okay. But yeah, just basically just the end, just the tip of this float needle. That's what I'm going to call it. I don't know if that's what it's actually called, but damn it, that's what I'm going to call it. So, yep, had to destroy something to get these carbs, you know, at least mostly disassembled. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep disassembling all this crap. And, yeah, I'm definitely going to have to order some stuff. Now, on the left side, or I guess I should say right side carb, I have no idea. On one of the sides of the carbs, the bowl gasket ripped. So I guess that means I have to go get some new bowl gaskets. So, you know what? Not a bad thing. It's probably a good thing to do anyways, considering that I'm having a little bit of trouble with these guys. It's pretty gummed up. It's pretty doity. And yeah, I'm just gonna keep going. Also, still need to figure out how the hell this the choke mechanism works. It's probably missing a part, because I know I'm pretty positive that Kawasaki wouldn't just use loose baling wire to make that mechanism work. Although I could be wrong. This is my first Kawasaki, so I don't know. We'll see. I got the tops off, and luckily the diaphragms are in good shape. So that's awesome, because those diaphragms cost a lot of money to replace. So a little bit of luck there. Sweet. So now comes the actual cleaning of all of the channels, all the air and fuel channels within the carbs. Now you want to hit a few specifically. You want to get these guys. There's a little meter, like air thing, or air passage down in there. Want to get those. Obviously clean out where all the jets were. Clean those out too. And you know, there's a little vacuum for carb sinking. There's a little vacuum port there. Might as well. And then on the tops, these guys right there. And then of course the fuel passage between the two carbs. Might as well just squirt some in there. And then of course this black bit right here, which has a crack at the bottom, that needs to be replaced. So I'm going to try and keep the carbs together, just because I think that they're already synced up pretty well, from as far as what I can see just from operating this. They look to be synced up pretty good. So I'm going to keep them together. There's really no reason to separate them, to be honest. So yeah, I'm just gonna get to doing this, but just to give you an idea of how it works. I mean, really, this is pretty basic, but pick a channel. I'm gonna pick this guy right here. Spray some stuff in there. You'll see it's coming out the other end. When it's doing that, that means, hey man, it's pretty clear. Then you get your compressed air and clear out all the carb stuff and all the remaining gunky old gas and garbage that's been in there for a while. And you just spritz it. And that's it, man. Like, seriously, that's it. So let's do that for any opening that you can see. Get some carb cleaner in there until it starts coming out the other end of the passage, and then spritz some compressed air in there to clear it all out. And that's it. Like, when you do that, you'll have a nice clean carburetor. And also all of the jets are currently soaking in carb cleaner in this bowl. And I'm going to let them soak pretty much until all my replacement stuff comes in. There's really, like, you know, soaking this stuff is, you know, it behooves you to do it. Or you could just replace it if you're made of money. You can do that too. I'm not, so I'm going to try and conserve as much as I can. Yeah, that's it, guys. That's how you clean this stuff. So I have to order a new one of, you know, that plug that I stripped up, and I need to figure out, oh, and the carb needle, or wait, the float needle, and what else? Oh yeah, this plastic guy right here for the fuel, and figure out how the hell this choke lever works. So that's it. So I'm looking at the electrics just to see like what works, what doesn't work. Battery's hooked up for right now. Let's see if I can. Am I zoomed in? Yeah, I don't need that. So these don't, well, the high-low works, so I got high beam, low beam. Turn signals do not work at all. The indicators don't work. And alarmingly, I'm getting smoke out of there. So, yeah. I think that I'm gonna have to take off the headlamp, go in there, look at the wiring, and see what the hell's going on in there, because I probably got some wires that are stripped and rubbing up on stuff. So look in there, figure out what's going on, because yeah, white smoke is never a good sign. And I'm not gonna even turn it back on again to look, because yeah, I don't want to cause more issues. But the neutral light works, the high beam indicator doesn't work, the turn signal indicators do not work, the oil works, stop lamp, I don't even know if it works because the master cylinder is broken. Or actually, you know what, I think I can see if that works. So let's see if the stop lamp, well, the stop lamp is on, so there's probably an issue there. So yeah, there's some wiring bugs in here that I have to figure out. Yeah. So that's an afternoon's worth of work right there. Horn doesn't work either. So pretty much all the turn signal doesn't work. Horn doesn't work. The high-low beam does work. The switch works, but the indicator does not. So I gotta go in there a little bit and figure that out. So I did a bit of Googling, and I figured out that a new master cylinder rebuild kit specifically for the Kz400 is about $60. However, I can get a remanufactured or new or good used master cylinder from like any bike that's 7/8 handlebar for about 20 bucks. So this isn't going to be a concourse bike. This isn't going to be 100% back to stock. So this is going in the garbage, or at least back onto eBay. And if someone wants to try and fix it, hey man, more power to you. Because you know, it's not like they're making any more of these. So this one's going in the eBay, and I got a new one coming for 20 bucks. You know, I think it's the better way of going about this. I've also went ahead and started taking reference photos for the gas tank, along with my ruler. So basically, seeing how far away, like how far away these graphics are from each other, and taking a shot of it with the ruler. And this is a flexible ruler too, so I can get the contours of the tank, and just basically taking as many photos as possible of this, just so that I can recreate the graphics best I can. Now, I don't know if they actually sell, what are they called? Like decal kits for these tanks? I highly doubt it. I'm pretty certain I'm going to have to remake this myself. But if they do make decal kits, I'll just buy some and, you know, make it easy on myself. But I think I'm going to have to recreate this and all of this myself. So I'm taking as many reference shots as possible to make sure that I know when this cuts off, when that cuts off, you know, how far away these two are from each other, what the taper's like, you know, all that jazz. So that's now that I'm done taking pictures of this, I'm going to take the tank off, see if I need to clean the inside, and start stripping it for paint. So, tank's on the bench. Reason being, we're going to take apart this Petcock and see if it needs to be replaced or not. Considering the state of affairs that the Carbs were in, and also, you know, just this thing's been sitting for a while, and the inside of the tank's got a little bit of rust on it. hopefully I can, you know, not get away with not creaming it, not resealing it, maybe just put some super clean in here and slosh it around, and hopefully it'll break up all the garbage in there. But if I gotta reseal it, I gotta reseal it, whatever. I just don't want to. It's just, you know, it's an extra 40 bucks that, and if I don't have to spend it, I'm not gonna spend it if I can avoid it. So I'm gonna take apart the Petcock and see what state it's in. Hopefully I do not have to be looking for a Kz400 vintage Petcock online. Hopefully I can just get by with this. So let's take you off here and inspect. So there's my little holder here. This guy's all bent out of shape, and I wonder if that is, you know what, that's probably not that big a deal, because it seals, I think. So I'll check the parts manual, see if this, because honestly, like I said, I've never worked on KZs before. Let's see if it actually is supposed to have these ridges in it. It might. Actually, I think it is. It is supposed to have them, so that it kind of like locks into, you know, place and keeps it from wiggling around from like reserved off while you're riding. I'm pretty sure. That's my guess. Here's the rubber gasket that usually is in need of replacing, but let's see. It's in good shape. It's, you know, it's still pliable, it's not brittle, so that's good. So I don't think I'll need to replace those bits, at least, because that's usually, this is the failure part. This is usually what becomes grody and bad when you're looking at these old Petcocks. So I'm gonna get a wrench on here and spin this off, and we'll see what the rest of the Petcock looks like. So this is a 14 millimeter, if anyone's keeping track at home. Just spun this off. It's got a little bit of a gunk in the bottom there, but that's not really a big deal. I'll just clean that up. The rubber gasket that sits inside here looks pretty good. I'm not seeing, you know, the screen looks like it's still in good shape. So I think, well, let me see if I can remove this a little further. Because as it looks right now, it looks like the Petcock is in good shape, and I'll be able to keep going and not have to replace anything. So let's see if I can gently pry that off. Okay, success. Let's see what's going on underneath here. So yeah, here's the screen. Looks like it's in good shape. It does. Yeah, it's in pretty good shape. I see a, well, no, I look at it. There's a few holes in the screen here. I might be able to get by, but I'm gonna see what this is, how much this goes for online, and if I need to get a replacement, so be it. No big deal. Alright, so now I have uncovered two big screws at the bottom here, which I believe will allow me to take off the rest of the Petcock. So let me get into that. Ow. What the hell? I just pricked myself on something. My shop is the dirtiest, most disorganized thing in the world. It fits my personality perfectly. Dirty and disorganized. That's me. Okay, off this goes. I can get these screws out of here so I don't lose them when I turn this over. Come on. Alright, maybe it's just, okay, there's one. Come on. Come on, numero dos. Don't be stubborn. There we go. It's starting to go. It's just old and recalcitrant. It's a vocab word for the day. So yeah, this is looking decent. The rubber gasket here looks like it's in okay shape. I'll probably be able to reuse it as is, but there's a little bit of gunk in there. As you can see, it's orange and blech. There's a little bit of gunk in there, but for the most part it looks pretty good. I'll just clean it up a little bit and I should be okay. And also I'll see if there's any in this tube right here, see if there's anything blocking it, but I think it'll be okay. One more thing that's going to need replacing, this is on the underside of the gas cap. It kind of seals the tank. Look at that. Look at how broken up and crusty it is. That's going to need replacing. Hopefully, yeah, look at that, it's falling apart. This is a gasket that needs to be replaced. Look at it, it's wilting in my hands. So, I'm going to run on eBay, see what that runs me. Hopefully not too much. And we are going to continue tearing this bike down. Now there is another screw right here that holds kind of the spring onto the spring on the cap that allows it to pop off. I'll take that off too and just clean it. It looks like it's in good enough shape. But yeah, all in all, the tank is, I'll give it a B+. Not too hard, not really seeing too many issues with it. Looking good.